At 32 years old, Ryan Walker walked into the penthouse he had designed himself, overlooking the city he used to ride through on the bus, a glass of wine in his hand and silence in his pocket. He didn't owe a single cent to anyone. 3 years before that, he couldn't even make rent. He slept with his phone on airplane mode, not for peace, but because he didn't want to see the bank calling anymore. What turns a life like that around? It's not a course. It's not a lucky break. It's a brutal sequence of decisions, a turning point that starts at rock bottom and only ends when you change from the inside out. This is the story of an average guy who got tired of just surviving and decided to build something no one could take away from him, freedom. But before he could reach the top, Ryan had to face what most people run from. And the first step was seeing the truth every single day. Ryan Walker used to think money was all about luck or just making more of it. He wasn't careless, he was just on autopilot. He paid his bills, complained about his paycheck, and waited for the next one like waiting for rain in the desert. But everything came crashing down on some random Tuesday. His card got declined at the grocery store. That month's bill felt like a silent scream. And his bank account? Negative $34.52. That's when it hit him. He had no idea where his money was going. He earned it. He spent it. That's it. Nothing changed. And in that quiet moment of shame, he made the first move that changed everything. He picked up a notebook, just a regular pen, and wrote, "Where's my money going?" Without realizing it, he had just created the first habit that would pull him out of the hole. A habit so simple it almost feels dumb, and that's probably why no one does it. Every single morning, before anything else, Ryan sat down with his coffee and did one thing. He checked what came in, what went out, what he owed, what he had. He faced the truth. What he called his freedom check-in was more than just tracking numbers. It was a mirror, a brutally honest moment with himself. And it wasn't really about money, it was about awareness. Because before you can ever be free on the outside, you've got to win the first kind of freedom everyone avoids, the freedom of knowing exactly where you stand. He built his own net worth tracker, logged his assets and liabilities, started to understand cash flow, and realized that what he thought was a salary was really just a revolving door. Because if everything that comes in goes right back out, you're not earning, you're just moving money around. That clarity started shifting his everyday decisions. He stopped buying impulsively, negotiated better. And for the first time, he felt something powerful: control. Financial freedom didn't start with a promotion or a stroke of luck. It started with a blank page and the guts to fill it with truth. After a few weeks of doing his daily money check-ins, Ryan felt lighter. For the first time, he knew exactly where he stood. But it didn't take long for him to realize something big. Knowing where you are means nothing if you don't know where you're going. That hit him one afternoon while heading home from work. He saw a billboard that said, "Are you building a life or just paying bills?" That line stuck with him. When he got home, he sat down and wrote a new question in his notebook. How much does the life I want actually cost? That was the day Ryan realized wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how much you need to be free. He grabbed another sheet of paper and started listing how much he'd like to earn each month, what he wanted to have, what his ideal daily routine would look like. He wasn't dreaming of luxury, he was dreaming of freedom. Like having time to eat lunch with his parents without rushing, taking 2 vacations a year without going into debt, doing work he loves without being scared of going broke. That list gave him a number, $2,500 per month. That was what freedom looked like for him. That was Ryan's number. And when he saw that number clear as day, something shifted. That goal gave shape to his motivation. It became direction. It became a target. Before that, he just wanted to make more money. Now he knew how much and why. And the funny thing is, the number itself doesn't matter. It could be $5,000, it could be $50,000. Everyone has their own version of peace, comfort, and freedom. But you only get there if you know what you're aiming for. Ryan learned that financial freedom isn't just some magical amount sitting in your account. It's a number with a name, a purpose, and a clear intention. And when you name your number, you send a direct signal to your brain. This is what I'm going after. Most people feel lost because they've never stopped to ask, what kind of life do I actually want to live? Ryan asked, and for the first time, he had a destination. With his number in hand, Ryan had to face a tough truth. He wasn't making enough. And at the pace he was going, even with 3 lifetimes, he wouldn't get there. For a few days, he felt stuck. The same thoughts kept looping in his head. I don't have a genius idea. I don't have time. I don't have talent. Then one random Saturday afternoon, while watching a YouTube video, he heard a sentence that hit him like a truck. You don't need a genius idea. You need a skill people are willing to pay good money to be around. That one line hit him straight in the chest. Up until that point, Ryan only knew how to do what his job required. That was it. No extra tools. No plan B. No secret weapon. He realized that if he wanted to increase his income, he had to increase his value. And that's when the question hit him. What do I already know that could be valuable to someone else? The answer didn't come right away, but eventually it clicked. He'd always been good at organizing ideas, writing clearly, and communicating well. So he started there, copywriting. It wasn't easy. He studied late at night, applied what he learned to posts, ads, and short-form content. He messaged people offering free help just to get some practice. And for a long time, nobody answered. But slowly, one client, then two, then a monthly retainer. Ryan was building something no one could take from him. A six-figure skill. He learned he didn't have to be the best in the world. He just had to be good enough to solve a real problem for someone. That's what people call specific knowledge, that unique combo of things only you know how to do in your way. The most powerful part? You become hard to replace, not by a company, not by a robot, not by a recession. Ryan discovered that you can't save your way to wealth, and that only happens when you choose to grow. The skill you start developing today could be the reason you're free tomorrow. Ryan was pumped. He had started earning some money on the side with his new skill, but along with that came the anxiety. What if I also learn design? What about paid ads? Should I start a YouTube channel too? He started jumping from one idea to the next, trying to do everything all at once. The result? No real progress. Until a mentor told him, you don't need 1,000 open doors, you just need one, that you're brave enough to walk through all the way. That hit different. Ryan realized he didn't need variety. He needed obsession, the kind of passion that pushes you to repeat, refine, and improve every single day. So he made a decision to go all in on one thing, copywriting for small businesses, one audience, one service, one channel, and for 1 year, nothing else. That level of focus changed everything. Because repetition creates excellence, and excellence leads to freedom. Most people don't make it because they keep getting distracted. They want long-term results with short-term focus. Ryan chose the hard road. Do less, do it better, always. Ryan's work was finally starting to pay off. Clients coming in, money flowing, results showing. But even then, he felt like he'd hit a ceiling, like something was missing. He was trying to level up all on his own, watching random videos, reading scattered blogs, collecting loose advice. And over time, that just made things more confusing. Then he made a decision that flipped everything. Stop thinking like an expense and start thinking like an investment. He bought his first course, then a second, joined a paid community. And in that space, he met people who thought differently, people who made 10 times more than he did, people who had problems he didn't even know existed. Ryan realized his next level wouldn't come from more effort. It would come from more awareness. He started setting aside a portion of his income for one goal only: growth in skill, in mindset, in environment. It wasn't about paying for information. It was about fast-tracking the journey, gaining years of advantage by learning from those who were already living it. Ryan came to understand that his greatest asset was himself, and that the return on investing in yourself isn't measured in numbers. It's measured in who you become. Ryan was delivering solid work, but at the end of the month, his bank account still wasn't matching his effort. He was grinding hard, but the return was small. He was working with small clients who constantly haggled, asked for discounts, and still acted like they were paying top dollar. Then one day, he heard a line that flipped a switch. Solving problems for people with no money always ends up costing you. That's when he realized the problem wasn't his work. It was who he was doing it for. So he made a move. He stopped trying to sell to people who didn't want to pay and started positioning himself for clients who valued solutions, not just price. He studied how bigger businesses think, learned how to speak the right client's language, upgraded his pitches, built case studies, strategy, positioning. Within a few months, he landed his first big contract, a client that paid what used to take him 3 months to make. Ryan finally understood that the value of your work isn't just about what you deliver. It's about who you deliver it to. Solving high-impact problems for people with actual budgets, that's what separates grinders from climbers. His big breakthrough wasn't about skills. It was about mindset. Stop thinking small and start thinking like someone who plays big. Ryan looked at his schedule and noticed something weird. Even though he was making more money, he was living less. His days were packed with tasks, deliverables, responsibilities that deep down didn't even need to be his. He had built his own business, but still felt stuck, trapped in operations, emails, WhatsApp, carrying the whole thing on his back. Then he heard something that became more than a strategy. It became a philosophy. You don't hire people to grow your business. You hire them to buy your life back. Ryan started small, outsourced video editing, then support, then admin work. He'd record quick videos showing how he did each task and handed them off to whoever he hired. The result? More time, more energy, more focus on the stuff that actually made money and gave him purpose. What seemed expensive at first paid for itself within weeks, and he realized something huge. Free time isn't a luxury. It's part of the plan. Ryan finally got it. Real success isn't about just making more. It's about doing less of what you hate and more of what you were born to do. The freedom he'd been chasing from the very beginning was never really about money. It was about life, about building something he didn't want to run away from when vacation time came around.